Several factors contribute to electrical contractors sometimes adhering only to the bare minimum requirements of the National Electrical Code. Cost competitiveness is a significant driver. In a fiercely competitive market, contractors often face immense pressure to keep their bids low. Meeting only the minimum requirements of the National Electrical Code becomes a way to reduce expenses and offer more attractive prices to potential clients. Owner expectations also play a crucial role. Many property owners primarily prioritize cost when making decisions about electrical work. They might not fully understand the long-term benefits of exceeding minimum code requirements and may opt for the cheapest option, pushing contractors to focus on meeting only the bare minimum to secure the project. A lack of comprehensive knowledge can also contribute to the issue. Some contractors might not fully grasp the intent behind the National Electrical Code. They may interpret it as a definitive installation guide rather than a minimum safety standard, leading them to believe that adhering to the letter of the code is sufficient. Time constraints can also incentivize contractors to prioritize speed over quality. Tight deadlines and project schedules can pressure them to complete the work as quickly as possible. This can lead to cutting corners and focusing solely on meeting the minimum requirements to avoid delays and potential penalties. Inconsistent inspection practices can further exacerbate the problem. If inspectors are not consistent in their enforcement of the National Electrical Code, or if they overlook minor violations, it can create a false sense of acceptability for minimal compliance. Contractors might be less inclined to go above and beyond if they believe they can get away with meeting only the minimum requirements. However, it is vital to understand the potential consequences of minimal National Electrical Code compliance. Reduced safety is perhaps the most significant concern. Installations that meet only the minimum requirements may not provide adequate protection against electrical hazards such as fires, shocks, and electrocution. Increased maintenance costs can also result from cheap and dirty work. When contractors cut corners to save money, the electrical system is more likely to experience problems down the road, leading to more frequent repairs and replacements. A damaged reputation is another potential consequence. Contractors who consistently engage in minimal compliance risk tarnishing their reputations and losing credibility with clients, inspectors, and other industry professionals. The race to the bottom for lower prices can also lead to extremely low profit margins for contractors. This can create a vicious cycle where contractors are forced to cut corners to stay competitive, further compromising the quality of their work. To address these issues, several solutions can be implemented. Education and awareness are crucial. Contractors, inspectors, and property owners need to be educated about the importance of quality electrical installations that go beyond the National Electrical Code minimum. This education should emphasize the long-term benefits of exceeding minimum requirements such as increased safety, reduced maintenance costs, and enhanced reliability. Incentivizing quality is another important strategy. Codes and ordinances can be amended to provide incentives for over and above code compliance. These incentives could include tax breaks, expedited permitting, or public recognition for contractors who consistently exceed minimum requirements. Inspector training is also essential. Inspectors should be thoroughly trained to consistently enforce code requirements and provide guidance on best practices. They should also be empowered to identify and address potential safety hazards that may not be explicitly covered by the National Electrical Code. Customer education is another crucial element. Property owners need to be made aware of the risks and consequences of minimal electrical compliance. This can be achieved through public awareness campaigns, educational materials, and consultations with qualified electrical professionals. Finally, collaboration among contractors, inspectors, and property owners is essential. These stakeholders should work together to promote quality electrical installations that exceed the minimum requirements and ensure the safety and well-being of the public. It's important to acknowledge that not all electrical contractors engage in minimal compliance. Many reputable companies prioritize quality and customer satisfaction over cutting corners. However, addressing the underlying reasons for minimal compliance is crucial for improving the overall safety and quality of electrical installations. The National Electrical Code serves as a foundation for safe electrical practices, but it should not be viewed as the ceiling. Striving for excellence in electrical work is essential for protecting lives, property, and the environment. Now let's consider some specific examples and technical details related to the National Electrical Code and electrical installations. For instance, the National Electrical Code Table 310.15b16 provides ampacity ratings for conductors based on their size and insulation type. A contractor aiming for minimal compliance might choose the smallest conductor allowed by this table for a given load, potentially overlooking factors like voltage drop or future load growth. A more conscientious contractor would consider these factors and may choose a larger conductor size to ensure optimal performance and longevity. Another example relates to grounding and bonding. The National Electrical Code requires that all metal enclosures and equipment be properly grounded and bonded to minimize the risk of electric shock. A contractor focused solely on meeting the minimum requirements might simply install the minimum size grounding conductor specified by the code. However, a contractor prioritizing quality would take extra steps to ensure effective grounding and bonding, such as using larger grounding conductors, installing additional ground rods, or applying antioxidant compounds to connections. Surge protection is another area where contractors can exceed the minimum requirements of the National Electrical Code. While the code may require surge protection in certain situations, a contractor committed to quality would recommend surge protection for all sensitive electronic equipment, regardless of whether it is specifically required by the code. This can help protect valuable equipment from damage caused by power surges and lightning strikes. Furthermore, consider the installation of arc fault circuit interrupters or ARCs. The National Electrical Code has expanded the requirements for PSI protection in recent years, but a contractor focused on minimal compliance might only install ARCs in the areas specifically required by the code. A contractor prioritizing safety would recommend PSI protection for all branch circuits in a home, as arc faults can be a significant cause of electrical fires. In commercial and industrial settings, the same principles apply. For example, the National Electrical Code specifies the minimum requirements for emergency lighting in buildings. A contractor focused on minimal compliance might only install the minimum number of emergency lights required by the code, potentially leaving some areas poorly illuminated during a power outage. A contractor prioritizing safety would conduct a thorough assessment of the building's layout and occupancy and install additional emergency lights as needed to ensure adequate illumination throughout the building. Another area where contractors can exceed the minimum requirements is in the selection of electrical equipment. The National Electrical Code specifies the minimum performance and safety standards for electrical equipment, but contractors can choose to install equipment that exceeds these standards. For example, a contractor might choose to install premium quality circuit breakers with higher interrupting ratings or energy-efficient lighting fixtures that consume less power. Proper labeling and documentation are also essential for quality electrical installations. The National Electrical Code requires that electrical panels and equipment be properly labeled to identify the circuits and components they serve. A contractor committed to quality would go above and beyond these requirements by creating detailed circuit directories, labeling all conductors and cables, and providing comprehensive as-built drawings of the electrical system. Now let's talk about voltage drop calculations. The National Electrical Code recommends limiting voltage drop to no more than 3% for branch circuits and 5% for feeders. However, a contractor focused on minimal compliance might only perform voltage drop calculations when required by the code and might not take into account the potential impact of voltage drop on the performance of sensitive electronic equipment. A contractor prioritizing quality would perform voltage drop calculations for all circuits and would choose conductor sizes that minimize voltage drop to ensure optimal equipment performance and prevent overheating. Furthermore, the National Electrical Code addresses the proper installation of wiring methods, such as conduit, cable, and raceway. A contractor focused on minimal compliance might simply install the wiring in the cheapest and easiest way possible, potentially overlooking factors like physical protection, environmental conditions, and future accessibility. A contractor prioritizing quality would carefully select the appropriate wiring method for the application and would install it in accordance with industry best practices to ensure long-term reliability and safety. When it comes to electrical inspections, it's important to understand the role of the electrical inspector. Electrical inspectors are responsible for enforcing the National Electrical Code and other applicable electrical regulations. They review electrical plans, inspect electrical installations, and issue permits and certificates of occupancy. Electrical inspectors play a crucial role in ensuring the safety of electrical installations and protecting the public from electrical hazards. However, the effectiveness of electrical inspections depends on several factors, including the inspector's training and experience, the resources available to the inspection department, and the support of local government officials. In some jurisdictions, electrical inspectors may be overworked and underpaid, which can limit their ability to thoroughly inspect every electrical installation. In other jurisdictions, political pressures or conflicts of interest may compromise the integrity of the inspection process. To improve the effectiveness of electrical inspections, it's essential to provide inspectors with adequate training, resources, and support. This includes providing them with access to the latest codes and standards, ongoing professional development opportunities, and the tools and equipment they need to perform their jobs effectively. Additionally, it's important to foster a culture of professionalism and integrity within the electrical inspection community. Inspectors should be encouraged to uphold the highest ethical standards and to resist any attempts to influence their decisions or compromise their independence. The National Electrical Code is not just a set of rules and regulations. It's a living document that is constantly evolving to reflect new technologies, changing safety concerns, and the collective experience of the electrical industry. The National Electrical Code is developed by the National Fire Protection Association, or NFPA, a non-profit organization that is dedicated to reducing the risk of fire and other hazards. The National Electrical Code is updated every 3 years through a consensus-based process that involves hundreds of electrical experts from around the world. The National Electrical Code is divided into chapters, articles, and sections, each of which addresses a specific aspect of electrical safety. The National Electrical Code covers a wide range of topics, including wiring methods, overcurrent protection, grounding and bonding, equipment installation, and special occupancies. The National Electrical Code is not law unless it is adopted by a state or local government. However, the National Electrical Code is widely recognized as the authoritative source of information on electrical safety and is used by electricians, inspectors, engineers, and other electrical professionals around the world. The electrical industry is constantly changing, with new technologies and products being introduced all the time. It's essential for electrical professionals to stay up to date with the latest developments in the field. This can be achieved through continuing education courses, trade shows, industry publications, and online resources. Staying informed about new technologies and products can help electrical professionals provide their clients with the best possible service and ensure the safety and efficiency of electrical installations. In addition to technical knowledge, electrical professionals also need to possess strong communication and interpersonal skills. They need to be able to communicate effectively with clients, contractors, inspectors, and other stakeholders. They also need to be able to work collaboratively as part of a team. Strong communication and interpersonal skills are essential for building trust, resolving conflicts, and ensuring the success of electrical projects. Now let's consider the financial aspects of electrical contracting. Electrical contractors need to be able to manage their finances effectively to ensure the long-term viability of their businesses. This includes developing accurate cost estimates, managing cash flow, and controlling expenses. Electrical contractors also need to be aware of the various financial risks associated with their businesses, such as project delays, material price increases, and liability claims. Effective financial management is essential for ensuring the profitability and sustainability of electrical contracting businesses. In addition to technical and business skills, electrical contractors also need to possess strong ethical values. They need to be honest and trustworthy in their dealings with clients, suppliers, and employees. They also need to be committed to providing high-quality workmanship and ensuring the safety of their installations. Ethical conduct is essential for building a positive reputation and maintaining long-term relationships in the electrical industry. The electrical industry is regulated by a variety of federal, state, and local laws and regulations. Electrical contractors need to be aware of these laws and regulations and comply with them at all times. Failure to comply with applicable laws and regulations can result in fines, penalties, and even criminal charges. Compliance with electrical laws and regulations is essential for protecting the public and maintaining the integrity of the electrical industry. In addition to the National Electrical Code, there are other standards and guidelines that electrical professionals should be familiar with. These include standards developed by organizations such as the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers or IEE, the American National Standards Institute or ANSI, and Underwriters Laboratories or UL. These standards and guidelines provide additional information and guidance on various aspects of electrical safety and design. As we conclude, remember that while adherence to the minimum requirements of the National Electrical Code is essential for safety, it is equally important to strive for excellence in electrical work. Electrical professionals who prioritize quality, safety, and customer satisfaction are more likely to build successful and sustainable businesses and contribute to the overall well-being of the community.